Welcome to Delhi. The local time is approximately 8:13 p.m.
They arrived at the Indira Gandhi International Airport at night and were soon on their way to the Florence Inn to rest up from their 14-hour American Airlines flight from Chicago. They were 7 mission ambassadors from Missouri on their way to visit the Ludhiana Christian Medical College and Hospital in northwest India. They woke up to a beautiful Delhi Sunday morning and made their way to Centenary Methodist Church, which holds services in both Hindi and English. They attended the early morning English service. Afterwards, there were tea and samosas. That afternoon, they toured the Qutub Minar complex, built in the 1200s. The tower there is an amazing engineering feat, even into modern times. A metal pillar dating back to 400 AD gives evidence of amazing advancements in metallurgy in India long before the Industrial Revolution 1300 years later in the West. They also visited the place where Gandhi was cremated. It is visited by hundreds of thousands of people every month who come to show their respect to one of the greatest leaders the world has seen. They pass by India Gate on their way to Humayun's tomb, commissioned in the 1500s by the wife of the great Mughal emperor, Humayun. The team lodged at the Florence Inn in the very crowded part of the city known as Karolbagh. Their second morning in India found them boarding the Shatabdi Express to take them 200 miles northwest to the city of Ludhiana in the state of Punjab. Upon boarding, they were served breakfast and passed the time watching the villages whisk by. After breakfast their first morning in Ludhiana, they met with the chaplains who would serve as their official hosts. Every morning the chaplains make rounds to a dozen or so places in the hospital where families of patients gather. At each location they write down the names of the family members. Then Christians, Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs alike bow their heads and pray with the chaplains for the healing their loved ones need. Daily worship services are held in various parts of the campus for students and staff. Steve Hall was asked to share a devotion with the nursing students. Later, they visited some classrooms and study halls. The team had their picture taken with Professor Trisa Jiwan, principal of the College of Nursing. Dr. Abraham Thomas serves as the director of the Medical College and Hospital. In his office, he shared some history of the institution. Dr. Thomas is known internationally for his pioneered work in microvascular surgery. At Ludhiana CMC, he performed the world's first full scalp and face reimplantation. Next, they visited the Betty Cohen Center for Innovation and Research. Here in her state-of-the-art research lab, Dr. Neeta Kang told of their research targeting a particularly aggressive form of brain tumor. The aim of the research is to determine why the tumors develop so quickly and develop treatments for children and adults. Crossing the busy street that cuts through campus several times a day was tricky business. However, reaching the hospital's staff dining room to enjoy delicious Indian curries made it all worthwhile. After lunch, Dr. Beatty, head of cardiac surgery, visited with the team about his Sikh faith, which is the predominant religion in the Punjab. Dr. Beatty and his surgical team at the hospital routinely perform open-heart surgery without stopping the heart, which reduces risks to the patient and speeds up recovery time after surgery. That evening, the team stepped into an entirely different world as they visited a newly opened mall in another part of the city. On day 2, the team visited 2 of the rural hospitals Ludhiana CMC serves. All in all, Ludhiana CMC provides staff and services for 4 rural hospitals located near Ludhiana. After touring the second rural clinic, they were guests in the home of the leading businessman of the village who manufactures soccer balls. He insisted the group stay for a delicious and lovingly prepared meal. For some team members, it was the first time to be a guest in the home of a Muslim family. One of the highlights of the visit was going with the nursing and medical students on rural home health visits. The community health program is an important part of the ministry of the medical college. At each home, students shared information about eating nutritionally and about sanitary and healthy living practices. They also told about precautions that could be taken to help prevent some common diseases. Because of the distance from Ludhiana, some students live for several weeks at a time at one of the rural centers. They showed where they slept and how they got out into the villages. Team members were game to bicycle too, as Sue demonstrated, but instead the team was loaded back onto the awaiting vehicles. It was a joy to spend the day being with the students. That evening, Laura Taylor spoke at one of their evening worship services. After the worship service, the cameras clicked as the students and the mission ambassadors visited and got better acquainted. Special permission was given to visit in the nursing student dormitory, where rooms that were designed for 2 students now each housed 3 nursing students. The need for new, expanded living space was so very obvious. Seeing the beautiful Punjabi clothing that the women wear, 3 of the mission ambassadors had some tailor-made for themselves. On their last day in Ludhiana, the team met with Dr. A.B. Thomas, principal of the dental college. Dr. Thomas gave them a tour of his campus where students were not only learning how to work on teeth, but learning how to make teeth. One of the important components of the dental college is their mobile dental clinic. Ludhiana CMC takes this health service on the road many times a year, holding mobile health, eye, and dental clinics in remote, underserved areas. The last night was a night of entertainment. Haveli, an hour away from Ludhiana in the city of Jalandhar, is a tourist attraction for Indian tourists from miles around. One of the attractions is a full-course Punjabi meal. Then, every evening, there are various kinds of performers to entertain and full-length performances to delight. There are rides as well. Casey took advantage of the camel ride, and when we returned to the U.S. and were discussing what we needed to help make our presentations back home more interesting, Casey did not have to think twice. She needed a camel. In the morning, the team was assembled on the Ludhiana station platform, waiting for the Shatabdi Express for the trip back to Delhi. A trip to India would not be complete without visiting Agra, the city of the Taj Mahal. Boarding the Taj Express at 6 a.m., the team was off on the 2-hour trip to Agra. They first visited the nearby abandoned city of Fatehpur Sikri, built by King Akbar the Great, the son of Emperor Humayun, whose tomb the team saw upon arrival in India. Akbar ascended to the throne at the age of 13 upon the death of his father, and shifted his capital to Fatehpur Sikri from Agra when he was 28. It goes on and on, with elaborate buildings built to house the king and his very large family of over 300 wives, and as a place to host foreign dignitaries and conduct state business. Back in Agra, the team visited the Agra Fort, another huge complex of buildings made of marble and red sandstone. From the Agra Fort, the Taj Mahal is visible in the distance. Last, but certainly not least, they viewed one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Taj Mahal, built by Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his wife Mumtaz. It is hard to describe this amazing work of art and architectural beauty. Few, if any, are disappointed with what they see and experience while walking around the grounds and visiting the Taj Mahal. Before leaving for the airport for their 15-hour nonstop flight back to Chicago, the team rode the brand-new metro system downtown to purchase handicraft items at the Cottage Industry Emporium. Leaving India behind, the images of that amazing country and their experiences there still fill their senses and memories. This mission trip was made available through the Missouri Conference Office of Creative Ministries. For more information about future mission trips to Ludhiana, visit the Office of Creative Ministries website at umocm.com.